Good afternoon. Welcome to this broadcast on this Black Friday, or the last Friday of 2019, the month of November. The question that is being raised here is in relation to G40. Professor Jonathan Moyo and Kasukuwere. I just went through the Twitter that has been posted by Professor Moyo. What is he saying? Is he against Kasukuwere or the G40 that never was is crumbling? What do we learn out of this? The G40. Who is the G40? And from the tweet here, can you learn something about the alleged G40? So, the professor said, so you think a defamation case in the court is more serious than a life-threatening military attack on my family and home? That was the attack. You think an individual's presidential bid out of the election is by itself more important than the public interest. Okay, meanwhile, good luck. So what was tweeted before? Professor is not supporting Kasukuwere, not because of his love for Nero, but as a political survival skill. Johnson knows all the G40s are behind Tyson, yet he can never fit in the team general matrix. WC is power behind Tyson. Reason being, Soko and Johnson thrift over Soko doctorate in 2017. The Soko they are talking about is General Chiwenga. Professor Jonathan Moyo is not supporting Kasukuwere. That's stated as fact. Do you believe that Professor Moyo and Kasukuwere were once in the same political basket? Do you accept as fact that G40 existed? If it existed, who were its constituent parts? And it's stated also as fact that Professor Moyo is in love with Chamisa. And Johnson knows all the G40s are behind Tyson. Who are these G40s? Do you know who they are? Do they exist? Or they were created into existence by people who just didn't want an alternative view in ZANU-PF itself? Do you believe that there's a pact as stated by many other commentators and some pretenders who think they know everything, that a pact exists between Chiwenga and Tyson? Do you think that pact exists as a matter of fact? Chiwenga and Tyson Do you think the pact exists? Max, good afternoon. Do you think there is a pact? Do you think Chiwenga and Kasukuwere got a deal? Or this is just a rumor, gossip, and it's unfounded? Do you think there's a pact between the two? Do you think there's a pact between the two, Chiwenga and Kasukuwere? We now know that Professor Moyo does not support anything that takes place outside the four corners of elections. And from his tweet, you can tell that he is not part of this so-called G40. Yet many people think it exists. They have, so I think, that is Chiwenga and Kasukuwere. Do you think that there is a meeting of the minds between Chiwenga and Kasukuwere? If you have any evidence, please share it so that we all may be guided accordingly. Is there a pact between Kasukuwere and Chiwenga? If so, what do you think the terms and conditions for such pact could be? Is there a pact? Does G40 exist as a matter of fact? Do you think all these allegations about a coup? Yes, Mark said, yes, same WhatsApp group. Mark said, do you have any facts which support that allegation of the same WhatsApp group? Unoda kutinzwa iwe. Mike Fry, do you think I need to hear from your own hunch, from your own perspective? Do you really think there is a pact? For me, I do not believe that G40 ever existed and exists as of today. And I do not believe that General Chiwenga is in a different WhatsApp group from President Mnangagwa. I think all these allegations are unfounded, diversionary, distortionary, and mischievous. That the president and his brother have been in this project for far too long for them to break up as is being alleged. Their ideas are not far apart. I'm not sure what idea Chiwenga and Kasukuwere would share that they couldn't share at a material time. Chiwenga could easily have facilitated anyone to take over from Mugabe, but I don't think he had any other intention except the outcome that we all know unfolded in front of our own eyes. So I do not believe that Chiwenga and Kasukuwere can and could possibly be in the same WhatsApp group. Social media formed tag team. Tyson was rumored to be the G40 kingpin, which wanted the general to be arrested. I stand to be corrected, though that's Prosper. Indeed, this G40 mantra has been incorporated or invoked to create this persona called Chiwenga, when in truth and fact, General Chiwenga could and may actually have been one of the most loyal foot soldiers for President Mnangagwa. And President Mnangagwa has no time to lose sleep over thinking about this alleged conspiracy. That conspiracy cannot include General Chiwenga. This is how I see it. You may see it differently, but I do not believe G40 ever existed. What I know and what I believe is that Professor Moyo is his own man, Tyson Kasukuwere is his own man, and they have their own views on issues, and those issues and those views need not be the same and are not the same and could possibly not be the same. So what do we learn about these diversions? If you look at Mugabe and his legacy, Mugabe and his ideas, what is it that we learn about Mugabe? Mugabe on the rule of law, Mugabe believed he was a better custodian of the rule of law, constitutionalism. To his death, he never saw himself as guilty of undermining the promise of the rule of law. So if you look at President Mnangagwa and Chiwenga, what are their views in relation to the liberation struggle? All the people who have been confined to the G40 group, those people have no personal knowledge of the liberation struggle. Simply a blank. Whereas Chiwenga and Mnangagwa have personal knowledge. And that shared knowledge is a bond that keeps them together. That, if anything, the promise of independence can only be secured if the people who positively fought for it are its stockholders. Nothing has changed. There is no new belief at all that would persuade anyone to think that General Chiwenga and President Mnangagwa could possibly hold different views as to who should govern as long as they are alive. So there cannot be any doubt that General Chiwenga, who was away in China, could possibly have changed his lifelong views about the address of power and the faces who must be in government. So Colin Makoe says, is it possible for the brothers to betray each other? Why should we pray for the brothers to betray each other? Just like they did with RG Mugabe. With RG Mugabe, they were clear that they had no dispute with RGM. They had a dispute with the people around RGM. These were considered to be criminals who surrounded him. But himself, they never said he was a criminal. So to his death, they actually held the same view that President Mugabe was God sent, and they could never participate in any fight against the person who created an address for them. So they are forever grateful that they were under the umbrella of President Mugabe until these nefarious characters chose to zoom and fly into the presidents and distorted and corrupted the mind of their president. So with President Mugabe, there was no dispute. They never saw it as a betrayal because they couldn't betray him. That's why even today, President Mnangagwa, you never him say anything against President Mugabe because a view he holds so strongly is that President Mugabe was the man, and he was the maestro, he was the pope, he was the general, he was everything. And for them to be where they are today, they owe it to him. So General Chiwenga and President Mnangagwa, they are at one in appreciating the role of President Mugabe in shaping and defining their trajectory to where they are today. So anyone who thinks that the views of General Chiwenga and President Mnangagwa on the role of President Mugabe could be different, just dreaming. I guess people are dreaming. And I can't see General Chiwenga choosing to associate himself with anyone who was not there when these ideas of the post-colonial Zimbabwe were being crafted and crystallized. So if you don't know the people you are talking about, please, it's important that you take time, pause to study, to understand them, their utterances, their life narratives, to discover that this idea that Kasukuwere and Chiwenga could possibly be acting in cahoots to run away with the baton is totally misplaced. The groupings that exist in the last years of Mugabe's ruling are premised on beliefs on how and who should take over from Mugabe. I don't know whether there was a group, there were individuals, Liberty. Let's talk about individuals, because this platform is to talk about naming and shaming the individuals. The groups, yes, we can talk about them, but let's talk about the individuals. The other group of the mind that the younger generation should take over, while the other thought it's not yet for the younger generation, but for those who were with Mugabe from the beginning, such that they can put the legacy of the revolution struggle to immortality. It's important that you name the individuals you so cite so that we don't assume that the human beings can collapse into amorphous groups and their individuality can disappear or evaporate. I shouldn't like to think that. So I think it is important that we talk to individual actions, individual choices. Please don't be afraid to name the individuals, not as groups, but as individuals. You may discover that even as of today, that Tyson has his own views about the world about Zimbabwe and what is wrong with Zimbabwe. So let's hear the individuals. Let's quote the individuals. I know Professor Moyo's views are shared every day. He tweets, and he just tweeted something so significant that people who don't pause to think may simply overlook it. He says, also you think an individual's presidential bid outside an election is by itself more important than the public interest. And he's defining public interest, and we are dealing with something that is what? That is not, that is, we need to think about what is public interest, what is going on. So we can then be able to see the what? Where the public interest starts and where the public interest goes. We need to be able to understand what is going on, what was going on at the material time. So we need to be able to think clearly, and we need to be able to apply our minds. So when we apply our minds, we can be able to take this matter to the next level, where we all use our minds to deal with whatever is of importance. So I think we need to be able to learn from some of these characters. So I hope you have also learned and applied your minds to it.